Alright, so I'm starting with this green here. And I'm going to go ahead and make a starting chain of 15. And then I always work in the back bumps of the chain. So when you look at the chain, you can see these little V's, but I flip it over and there's these little bumps. I'm going to be working into those. So I'm going to skip the first one and go into the second one here. So that's row 1. In the next row, I'm going to be adding our white. So I'm just going to get that ready. Alright, so I'm going to do 5 single crochets. So chain 1, turn your work. And now this is going to be the wrong side. You'll see why that matters in a second. So we're going to do 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now when you get to the 5th one, go into the stitch and pull up a loop. But you're going to yarn over with the white. And so I just kind of leave it long tail so you can sew in ends later, and I just yarn over with the white. And now this side that we're working on is the wrong side, so we're going to keep all tails on the wrong side. So just keep all your tails on the wrong side. Try to remember that. And I'm just going to show you the first method, which is carrying the yarn. And so what you're going to do is just work into the stitch and sandwich those 2 strands into it. And you're going to do this 4 times. And you'll see why. I'm just bringing the tail in with me just to secure it. 1, 2, it's getting in, it's inside the stitch. 3, 4. And now we're on the wrong side, so we're going to drop this onto the wrong side. Forget about the tail now, and we're going to pick up the green. So we've picked up a loop, and now we're going to yarn over with the new color. And then we don't need the white again on this row, so I'm going to leave the white here, and then I'm going to do 5 single crochets until the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to show you the next row. We're going to do the same exact method. So we're going to chain 1, turn your work. Now you might notice your yarn is starting to tangle up. I recommend untangling it every row and just situating it differently so it's not tangled up. Alright, so the next row is, it's 4 green, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I picked up a loop, but I'm not going to yarn over. I'm going to drop that color, and I'm going to pick up the new color, and I'm going to yarn over with that color. And now the back, so this is the back of your work. It's the wrong side. I don't really care what the wrong side looks like, because it's the wrong side. But we're going to carry this green with us. This is the carrying method where you carry the second color with you the whole time. So we're going to be crocheting with white and carrying the green with us. So make sure it's sandwiched inside the stitch. And then we're going to do 6 single crochet in white. So 1, sandwiching that color in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, dropping white onto the wrong side, which is behind us now, because now we're working on the right side. then yarn over with the new color, and then 4 single crochets. And we don't need the white until we get back to it, so don't carry it all the way to the end. Alright, so you can see that it's the same on both sides, but you can kind of see the green peeking through. So I'm going to show you this next method where you float the yarn on the back. So we are going to chain 1, turn your work, and just untangle your yarn however you need to. So then it is going to be the same. So we're going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I'm going to yarn over with the new color and do 6. But this time I'm going to float this on the back. And the way I do floats might be different from how other people do floats. I like to tack down my floats. It just helps me stay organized. You can do this differently, but I'm going to show you the way I do it just because. Okay, so I'm going to go into this next stitch and go 1, and now I'm going to carry this just into the every other stitch, and so that's how I float my yarn. What you can do, so in the next stitch I won't carry it, and then in the next stitch I will carry it. There's a knot in my yarn, but I am going to ignore that. And then in the next stitch I won't carry it, and then in the last one I will carry it. So it kind of gets tacked down, but it's not inside all the stitches. So then drop that and pick up, and then we have 4 single crochets to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and in the next row we are going to do the same thing. We're working on the right side, so chain 1 and turn your work, untwist your yarns however they need to be. So you can see that this is the right side. You can't see this. You can't see this green. You can float it on the back, but you can't see it in the front. So this is the right side. And so that's why wrong side, right side matters. But I like to float my yarn because it doesn't peek through as much. And if you're using high contrasting colors like black and white, you're going to be able to see the black peeking through if it's carried inside the stitch. But if you carry it, like float it on the back, it's not as easy to see. I hope that makes sense. And so the next row we're going to float again, so that's like this. 2, 3, let me move this. 3, 4, 5. So we're going to drop that color, just drop it on the wrong side, pick up, and we're going to do, I'm going to show you a different way you can float the yarn. It's totally up to you, so you can just forget about the green for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the back side you just yarn over, and you want to make sure that you make this loose enough that it's not like bunching up your work, but tight enough that it's not like also warping your work. So then you can just do it like that, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, go back. 5. And you can see that on the front, you can't, it doesn't matter. But on the back, you've got these floats floating behind. Now, I personally like to tack them down. I don't like these big loops because it could snag on something. Depending on what you're using this for, if it's a wall hanging, go for it, have the big loops. If it's like a wearable or maybe like the inside of a bag, like a tote bag or something, then maybe you want to tack them down. Anyways, these are my 2 preferred methods. So I'm gonna just keep going because I want to show you how to get this whole thing done. So then we'll chain 1, turn, and I'm going to show you this the way that I like to do floats again. So it's just every other stitch you carry it inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to drop this onto the wrong side, pick up my white, 1, and I like to carry it every other stitch. 2, 3, drop it on the wrong side, yarn over, 1, hold on a second. Wait, what did I do wrong? 1, we're good, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've actually never made this pattern before. I'm making it for the first time on camera because I thought, let me be like an absolute beginner, even though I designed the pattern and I'm not a beginner, but I thought, let me just pretend. So you could see the back side is looking like this. This is the wrong side, but when you turn it over, chain 1 and turn your work, you can't see that. You can't see the green peeking through, and it's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but you can see where I carried the green through. You can see the green kind of peeking through the stitches, but where I floated it on the back, you can't. And so that's why I prefer doing my kind of float carry method, where you float it but you tack it down every few stitches. So I'm going to just continue. We're almost done with the white, so I'm going to show you how we'll add another color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then yarn off with a new color. 1, 2, and I didn't tack this, well, sorry, I didn't tack that one down because it's just 2 stitches, so it's not really gonna have any big loops. And then if I'm going too fast, you can always slow the playback speed, slow it down. I am trying to film this while my kids are out swimming, because I don't get a lot of time to film, but I just love teaching crochet. Alright, so we are completely done with the white, so I am going to cut the white off, and I like to always leave a really kind of decent length of tail on that, because to sew in the ends you want to have security, but you do use. I'm completely done with the white, and now as you can see, this is the right side and this is the wrong side, and it's beautiful. So you can see, like, if you continue to carry the yarn through, it would be reversible, and it's not so noticeable, but you can see the green peeking through. It's totally up to you. There's another method called intarsia. I'm really not going to show a tutorial for that because I very, very rarely use it. So I don't feel like I'm an expert at all. I don't even feel like I can give you any tips and tricks on that. So these are my 2 favorite methods, are the carry or the floating method, and I kind of do a combination of the 2. So the next thing we're going to do is work on the next row, and for that we're going to need some red. So just give me 1 minute. I'm going to get that red. Alright, so we're ready to add the next color. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work, and then I am going to do, it's 2 stitches of the green this time. So 1, 2, I'm going to drop that green down, and I'm yarning over with red. And again, I always leave a long tail when I add a new color, and I just recommend that you can crochet over it a little bit, and then you can also tie in those ends. And so I'm going to do my favorite floating method. Remember that you can do this any way that you want to. You can carry the green with you along the whole way. It's totally up to you. I just thought, this is my tutorial, let me show you how I do things. I get a lot of questions about how I hide the yarn, how I carry the yarn, how I do my tapestry work, so I'm just going to show you exactly how I do it. No gatekeeping over here. So we got 10 stitches, so we're going to do, I'm tacking it down every other stitch. And I'm going to crochet over this tail just for 1 more stitch, just to secure it. And then I'm just going to forget about that little tail. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, I am carrying the green with me only in every other stitch, and on the wrong side, this is what it looks like. Let me just go back and count those, because I should have 10. I'm doing 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Drop that down here, yarn over with this, and then I don't need the red again until I get back to it, so I'm not going to carry the red to the end. And that is what we've got. Chain one and turn your work. So as you can see on the front side, la la la, beautiful. You can't see this floats. It's so wonderful. If you want, just for giggles and for fun, I will show you what it looks like if you carry the green with you all the way through. So you do one, and then it's 12. So I'm going to carry this green throughout all of these 12 red stitches, just so you can see, and I'll give you little tips, because I feel like that might be the most beginner-friendly method. I'm going to try and give you some tips. The biggest tip for that is to not pull the green so tight, but you do want it to be like, is flush with the project the right word? You want it to be the same length as your project. You don't want to pull it too tight and it'll warp your work. You might want to stretch it out, but you don't want it to be too loose. Let me show you what it looks like if you do it too loose. I don't want to overcomplicate this, but if you do it too loose, the green, it kind of gets bunched up, and that will peek through. It gets bunched up, so you just want to pull it so that it's kind of level with everything. So if you are going to carry your colors, that's how I would recommend you do it, is just kind of tug on it, but not too tight. Kind of stretch it, and then pull it so that it's nice and level with your work. Alright, so I've picked up that. I'm going to drop that on the wrong side, yarn over with green. And okay, we got one stitch in green here. Alright, so that is what it looks like, and on the reverse you can see it peeking through, but if you don't mind that, you could have a completely reversible project if you carry it through. Alright, so I'm going to chain one and turn my work, and I'm going to do this next row. So that's 1, 2, drop that down on the wrong side, pick up the next color, and I'm doing 10 stitches, so that's going to be 1. And remember, I'm tacking this down every other stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Drop that down, yarn over with the next color. 1, 2. So that's the wrong side. Beautiful. Yarn, chain one and turn. That's the right side. And it's lovely. Alright, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows. So I am going to do this next row is pretty much the same thing over and over again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 8, 1, and I am tacking this down 2 in every other stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dropping that down, and you can see I'm trying to show you. You want to just try not to tangle your yarn over. So I'm going to move this because it's starting to twist. So just untangle your yarn when you notice it twisting. This is a small project, so it's better to maybe try to train yourself to untangle your yarn with a small project like this. Just to get in the habit of that, because, hey, listen, I gotta be real. I'm the worst too at following my own advice, but it really is beneficial to untangle your yarn after every row. But if your yarn gets too tangled, do not be afraid to just cut it off and reattach it later when you need it, because it's just crochet and it's okay. If your yarn gets too tangled, cut it off, untangle it, and reattach it. Everything will be fine, I promise. But for something small, it's better to practice doing the right thing, I guess. But I don't always follow my own advice because I'm in the flow and I don't want to stop crocheting to untangle my yarn, so I understand. I totally understand. Alright, move this, yarn over with the new color, and 6 in red, and then I'm tacking down my green every other stitch. So it's a float, but I tack it down. So it's like a combination of a float and carrying. And that's what works best for me, and I don't know when I ever learned that, but that's what I like to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My last one, 6. Drop it down on the wrong side. Always drop your colors and your tails down onto the wrong side so it does not create any lumps or bumps on the right side. Chain 1, turn your work over. It is so freaking beautiful. Alright, so this is going to be the last row with the red. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are done with the red. And so I'm going to cut that off, leaving a pretty good tail. I like to leave a little tail. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and then it's 14 green all the way across. So I'm going to do that. Nothing special, just 14 green all the way across. This is my background music playing. Can you hear it? Do you like it? Sorry. Alright. It's perfect! So this is my first time making this. I designed the pattern and I thought it would work, but it's my first time making it and I'm so happy it worked. Okay, so I'm going to fasten off, and how I do that is I just chain 1, cut up a pretty long tail, pull my hook out, and you're left with this little beauty. So that's a reminder, wrong side, right side. This is a perfect piece to practice on because it's only 3 colors and you're really only working with 2 colors at a time because, you know, you're just working with green and white at the same time. You cut off the white and then you're working with red and green. And so it's a really good practice piece. It's small. It shouldn't take you too much time. It's a great practice on following the written instructions. All my patterns come with written instructions. You can find the pattern for this, a free pattern. I will link that in the description. So yeah, you'll want to go ahead and weave in all your ends and do that however you do that. Or if you're like me, I will just put this in my bag because I have no use for it yet. But if you make a bunch of them, or maybe you can make like a cute little tote, or maybe you can make a bucket hat, or maybe you can make little patches to go on something. I don't know. Oh. Anyways, all I was talking about was the PDF. You can find the PDF. I link it in the description. Completely free. I have a bunch of free patterns. Because I just really want to encourage people to try it. Tapestry crochet can be so fun. You can make so many cute images with just, you know, yarn and a hook. And yes, so if you enjoyed this, please let me know down in the comments. If there's anything that was confusing, let me know in the comments. I will try to help troubleshoot with you. If you want to, you can follow me on Instagram. I am super active on there. I'm on there like every day. I just love seeing your guys' work. If you make this, please go on Instagram and tag me. I would love to see it. Yeah, this was fun. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and I hope that you make this. It's so cute. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Bye!